everybody. Welcome back to Fire Your MD Now Radio. Mike Phillip filling in once again for Dr. Peter Glidden. And, I'm getting pretty good at this longevity thing. I've been holding meetings, hosting this show for Dr. Glidden, talking to people just about every day. And this is truly turning into a full-time thing for me. Now, I went to broadcasting school and took journalism way back in the 90s. And I can host a radio show. And that's why I'm here. In fact, me and Dr. Glidden were hanging out one day, and I offhandedly said to him, I could do your job. Well, when he asked me to, he says, well, maybe you're the guy I'm looking for. I think my jaw hit the floor. But fact is, if I can do this, just about anybody can. And that's the beauty of it, is that you do not have to suffer. You don't have to live with chronic pain and disease. You can almost always clear it up yourself. But the trick is to not get a disease in the first place. The trick is to keep yourself strong and healthy. And the other thing I wanted to mention, normally I do this show every Friday, but as I said, Dr. Glidden is doing upgrading to keep his license good and everything. Dr. Wallach's there with him, I believe. And so yesterday I came on the air and I repeatedly said it was Friday, August 7th. Well, I guess every day's Friday when you're Mike Phillip. Today is the true Friday, August 8th. But you know what? It felt like it to me yesterday, so let's just run with it. Welcome to Fire Your MD, Friday, August 8th. And to kick things off, I pulled this article up with Fox News. Now, I'm not a big fan of Fox News, not a big fan of CNN or the CBC or any of these other. In fact, I frequently refer to CNN as chicken noodle news. But this report sounds accurate to me. The cost of treating cancer skyrockets when doctors merge with hospitals. Now, if you're on the line waiting, Charity, MJ, and Jeff. More and more hospitals across the country are buying up private oncology practices and taking advantage of a loophole in a federal program, making millions of dollars in the process and skyrocketing the cost of treatment. Hospitals, which have a lot of overhead and regularly treat patients who can't pay, are always looking for ways to increase their bottom line. Private practitioners fed up with the stress of managing the business end of medicine want a guaranteed salary and a steady flow of patients. The cure? Doctors' offices becoming hospital outpatient centers. So you have this bureaucracy in a hospital that's looking at the bottom line. Meanwhile, they're pushing all these expensive treatments that don't work. In part, what we're seeing is that hospitals and physician groups are merging. And when they merge, they have more bargaining power to extract higher reimbursement fees, says Rena Conti, a professor at the University of Chicago, excuse me, who studies the economics of medicine. Beverly Brown, a breast cancer patient in her 70s, said her chemotherapy treatment nearly tripled when her doctor sold his practice. She goes on to say it started out $6,000 every 3 weeks, and then it raised to $15,000 every 3 weeks. Same drug, same person gave it to me, same facility giving it out. It just costs more money. So Dr. Wallach proved that you could reduce the incidence of breast cancer in women by just supplementing with 200 micrograms of selenium a day. That's all. I mean, $6,000 every 3 weeks is bad enough for a treatment that's probably going to kill you. But jumping to $15,000, well, you know what? You get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. And there's a cost to just believing whatever comes along because it's in a uniform or a suit with a degree behind it. And a lot of people pay with their lives. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. I really am. I see lots of really beautiful people coming to my meetings. And almost all of them are older than me. And they're in so much pain. And they've gotten to doctors their whole life. And nothing's working. Well, you know what? There's a new sheriff in town. Mike Phillip, representing longevity here in Camrose. And once the word gets out, We're going worldwide, baby. We got people in Africa looking at this. We're bringing people in from India. I get calls from Manitoba, from Ontario, and that's a pretty long ways away from Camrose if you understand Canadian geography. But enough about me. Let's go to some calls here. We're going to talk to Charity in Virginia. How you doing, Charity?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing really well. It's a great day. It's raining, but I don't mind. So what's on your mind?
Yes, I'm calling in for my father. He's had a lot going on. He first started off with thyroid cancer.
Yeah.
It spread it to his bones, and he did have thyroid removed. So now he has a tumor on his spine. So he's been paraplegic since December, and he's a diabetic. He's been developing also on his foot lately, and now that has gotten real bad. The doctor told him today that, they want to amputate it. They pretty much told my mom they want to do it right away. And I'm just calling it, bone cancer. He's, like I said, diabetic, and I'm just trying to call in to get some help for him. Because I don't want my dad to lose his foot, leg. I don't want that.
I don't want your dad to lose his foot and leg either, and I don't even know him, Charity, but this is I hear this stuff all the time. I really do. And if you heard me talking before we had you on, I was saying the best thing a person can do is not get sick in the first place, and your dad is an excellent example of that.
Yeah.
But he is where he is. So he's had his thyroid removed. He's got cancer spreading through his bones. He's got diabetes. There's looking at
losing. He has one on his spine. He has a tumor on his spine, and they wanted to cut that off. We did try talking him into not getting that done. They wanted to do that in December. They rushed in like, "Oh, we have to operate right away." But we did get that put put off on him.
Okay, Charity,
do you do that right away?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I bet their intentions were probably good, but they just don't know, right? And
no, they don't. They
don't. And I really feel bad for your situation. And here he's approaching 70, and now we got to rush in. So I mean, your dad, for the diabetes, let's start with that. He's going to need. How much does your dad weigh? Probably not much if he's been through all these surgeries and everything.
No, he's still. I'm sure he's still into his 200s. I'll say maybe about 230, 240.
Okay, so what I would do if I was you for my dad, if he was in the same situation, is I would get him on 2 healthy blood sugar packs. And the reason that you do that is because you're getting the Mighty 90 and the regular Healthy Start pack, but what's added in is the product called Sweeties, and what that is cinnamon packed with chromium and vanadium to control blood sugar. Now, at my meeting last night, we have this great couple named Wayne and Colleen that have been coming, and Wayne's been on the Healthy Blood Sugar Pack for about a month, and he has already reduced his medication from 28 units a day to 8. And that's just in under a month. So, I see this all the time too, and it's really great when you see somebody respond so quickly. So, are you a Youngevity distributor, Charity?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. So I hope you're writing this down. 2 healthy blood sugar packs, and for the cancer spreading through his body and the tumor, I would get him the maximum amount of ORAC value possible, and the best way you can do that is with Triple Treat chocolate, okay? Mm-hmm. Has a huge ORAC value. Cell Shield RTQ. The RTQ stands for resveratrol, turmeric, and quercetin, and they are powerful antioxidants and definitely game changers when fighting cancer in the body. You're also going to want to add selenium, and I would probably give him about 2 to 3 bottles a month, and this is not going to be cheap. But
yeah, he has been on some of that, but trying to balance the budget. But he has been on the selenium and Z-Radical some.
Z-Radical too. It has no established ORAC value, but that fucoidan is a powerful cancer fighter. Has he noticed any little changes in how he feels since he's using the selenium and Z-Radical?
I'm not 100% sure because, like I said, it's just so much. You got me. And I know he's probably not taking, the right requirements either. You got me. So I'm not really sure.
Charity, you got a big fight ahead of you, and I don't know how far is too far. It sounds like he's got some big problems, but I would really like for you to see what you can do about getting that healthy blood sugar pack into them, both of them. And I want you to keep in touch with the show, because if you can bring your dad back, then that is a great story. And I really hope things work out for you. If you need any help, you can get a hold of me at mike@teamglidden.ca. And that goes for anybody else out there, mike@teamglidden.ca. I got a lot of emails, but I try to get back to all of them. And this is what I do. So, Charity, good luck to you. I hope you can get your dad back. We're going to let you go.
What's the main thing for the infection? Can you please tell me that?
Infection?
On his foot. That's why they're trying to amputate his foot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, the infection, I mean, that's due to the blood sugar issue right there, for sure. Okay. So, I mean, we're going to get rid of that with the sweeties. But to kill infection, I was talking about this on the show yesterday. I am a huge fan of colloidal silver. I mean, huge. And if I was you, I would try to find the highest parts per million colloidal silver that I could find, and I would be spraying that or rubbing it directly onto the affected area. It'll soak right into the skin, and what it does is it knocks out the infection's ability to breathe, basically, in layman's terms, and suffocates it in under 20 seconds. So, I mean, I've had infections go away in, a swollen, bad infection in less than 15 minutes, gone, using colloidal silver. Okay. Charity, I hear the music. Good luck with that.
All right, thanks
Robin,
so much, Mike.
Yeah, MJ in Chicago, Robin and Jeff, we're going to get to you right after this break. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden, back after this. Welcome back to Fire Your MD Now Radio. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. And over the break, Charity in Virginia, if you're still listening, it just hit me. I thought of one more thing. You should get your dad also taking the Killer Biotic FX. Okay, Killer Biotic. It's actually a low-level toxin that will wipe out microbes and things that are causing the nasties in your dad's foot. Along with the colloidal silver, that should do it. All right, now we're going to go over to MJ in Chicago. MJ in Chicago, how are you today?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You know what? I love Chicago. My dad's from there.
Good.
Yeah, my grandmother actually lived in Crown Point, and I used to love going to Chicago to visit, so I have a special heart for that town. It's changed a lot. It looks very different when I visit it now, but I've always really loved Chicago. So what's going on, MJ?
Okay, well, here's my situation, Mike, and I'll tell you the products I already got. I'm currently a diabetic, and I've suffered from high blood pressure, of course, sugar issues. I'm having renal failure. My creatinine level right now is a 7.2, and I'm retaining water. And my doctors want me to start dialysis. And I listen to Dr. Glidden and Dr. Wallach, and I know there's other options that I want to try before I go that route. Because right now, some of the products from Youngevity that I purchased the Healthy Start Pack,
yep,
as well as separate. I'm also about 255 pounds, 5'6". So I also got the ASAP, the Healthy Start Packs. I have also the plant-derived minerals, the glucogel, because I have back issues with my disc, and I also have selenium and the Ultimate Daily. But I just want to make sure that I have everything covered, and I buy the right things and take the right dosage.
Okay, that sounds good what you're doing so far. Let me ask you this. How long have you been doing this?
Well, I'm just getting ready to start.
You're just getting ready to start. Okay. If I was you, MJ, I would put the ASAP off for a little while. Okay. We don't recommend people go on a crash weight loss program until they've been nutrified for at least 90 days, because toxins store up in your fat cells, and if you start to burn them off, they'll release into your body, and if you're not fully nutrified, it could be like kicking a hornet's nest. You could wind up with some real problems. As far as going on the dialysis and that, you are absolutely correct with getting the Ultimate Dailies. If I was you, I would be taking 4 to 6 of those a day. I actually take 4 Ultimate Dailies a day myself, and I get great results from them. And other than that, I think you're absolutely on the right track. You've got 2 Healthy Start Packs, Ultimate Dailies, Selenium, plant-derived minerals, and did you mention Sweeties?
No, I did not get that. I need to get that.
Yeah, absolutely. The Sweeties is a absolutely awesome product. I'm not diabetic, but once in a while, if I get myself feeling a little bit of anxiety and stress from life, I'll just go and pop 3 Sweeties, and it all levels out in under an hour. So I've learned how to use these things in response to things going on in my body. There's my stuff I take every day, and then there's stuff that I'll use whenever I figure I need it. And you'll figure that out as time goes by too. Now, are you down with the 10 bad food list?
Yes, that's another thing I was going to say. I went gluten-free, and I'm getting off the 10 bad foods.
Good girl. All right, so it sounds like you've got it dialed in. I want you to keep in touch with the show, and we will help you out anytime we can. And I want to hear from you. I want to know how you're doing, because everybody's got a story, and yours is about to turn the corner. Sound good, MJ?
Yes, it does. There's one other thing, Mike. With Ultimate Daily, is that I think 2 bottles a month I should get?
There's about 180 of them in there, so you should be good doing 4 to 6 a day.
Okay, for 1 bottle.
Yeah, I keep around 2 bottles just because I don't like running out. Once you get on longevity, you feel so good. If you run out before your auto ship comes, you kind of go into a little bit of a freak out. So I avoid that just by keeping extra around. If you can afford it, do it. It's well worth your time.
Okay, and the Selenium, how many bottles per month should I take?
You were 230, you said?
255.
255. Yeah, I would do at least 3 if I was you.
Okay.
Yep, I would do about that. I hear the music, MJ. I'm going to let you go. Thanks for your call. Jeff in Minnesota, Robin in North Carolina, Dane in Massachusetts. We're going to get to all of you. Stick around after this break. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden, back after this. Welcome back to Fire Your MD Now Radio. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. The call-in line is 1-844-374-5433. Once again, that's 1-844-374-5433. If you want to contact old Mike Phillip here, you can get me Mike at teamglidden.ca. And if you have any comments about the show, if you have a story to tell about a miraculous health recovery or a nightmare tale, I'd like to hear it, and I'll get it on the air here. So, if you're at work and you can't call in listening to the show, shoot me an email. I'll definitely get back to you. Now, we're going to jump over to Jeff in Minnesota. He's been waiting 32 minutes to get on the show. How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, doing just fine, Mike. I'm working with a friend that's got an enlarged prostate. It's non-cancerous. The VA'd like to ream it out, and he doesn't want to go that route, and I was wondering what you'd recommend he be on.
Automatically, what I would do for your friend is I would get him 1 Healthy Brain and Heart pack per 100 pounds body weight. Is he a big guy?
Yeah, he's 150 pounds. And,
Right. Well, you know what? It's dosed per 100 pounds. You might be able to get away with 1. If he could do 1.5, that would be great. But as I was explaining to the earlier caller there, you were probably listening, the Healthy Brain and Heart pack is just a Healthy Start pack with Cell Shield RTQ and selenium added in. And so even if you can get your friend on 1 Healthy Brain and Heart pack, that will probably do the trick. And yeah, I've heard a lot of horror stories from people dealing with the VA. Things don't seem to be going too good.
Yeah, I can tell you also, Mike, I've been on the program since February. I'm a type 2 diabetic, and I'm on dialysis right now, and things are have neuropathy, and it's all getting better. I hadn't been able to jump in years, and my feet are feeling lighter, and I'm on Ultimate Daily. I take about 9 of those, and things are, my circulation I've noticed is a lot better. My numbness in my hands is dissipated a whole lot, and it's things, my vision, I'm on Vision, Ultimate Vision, FX, and,
yeah.
and it's improving because a year ago I couldn't see my sockets to tell what size they were, and now I can, and I can read a menu, and things are just going in the right direction. But it's not a fast fix. I was sick for quite a while, and I'm in it for the long haul. I understand about nutritional therapy, and years ago I was a dairy herdsman. I always used to say if I fed my cows as well as if I ate as well as my cows did, I'd never be sick. And there was something to do it after I heard Dr. Wallach talking about that doctors don't lie, and I just it's just something I wish I would have known about several years ago. But
me too.
Things are going in the right direction, and just tell people to hang in there. It's not a quick fix, but it takes a while for your body to get nutrified again.
That's it, right? If you're dealing with 60 years of damage, I mean, chances are that's not going to go away overnight, but it sounds like you're doing everything right. They're going to be calling you Jumpin' Jeff soon.
Oh, yes. Like I said, I haven't, it's been a long time. My legs feel a lot lighter, and, people with neuropathy know what I'm talking about. It feels like needles and pins, and all that is going away. I don't feel the numbness as bad as it was. I can actually, feel somebody tickling my foot, and it's getting better. And it's just been since February, and I haven't even tried glucogel yet, and I understand that helps neuropathy. So
yeah, I've seen good success with that in my little circle of influence here, and Are you
there?
Can you hear me, Jeff?
Oh, you cut out for a second.
Sorry about that. Must have had a bad connection. I was just actually talking to my group last night, and like I mentioned, just about all of them are older than me. And in a lot of the case here, I mean, you want to get your health back too, but you want your kids and your grandkids never, ever, ever to face these problems. And that's why we've got to get this word out, because it's better to not get sick in the first place than to have to recover after years of damage. And like a lot of the damage I'm seeing, these are people that have not partied away the years, and they don't do hard drugs. They've never had a beer in their life, never smoked a cigarette, good church folk, and they're absolutely breaking down, and they thought they were doing everything right their whole life. Well, the fact was they were running out of nutrients the whole time. And we need to get this message out to families with young children because we could absolutely save the healthcare system. Well, I mean, not that we want to save it, but I mean, we don't want everything to go absolutely bankrupt. We want a good future for our kids.
And Mike, I've been on dialysis the beginning of the year, or I've been on it since October 2012, and at the beginning of the year, I was doing it for 4 hours, 3 days a week. And since I've been on the Healthy Start Packs and everything, I'm down to 3 hours, 3 days a week. And I just thank the Lord that I'll be off of it down the road. So that's going in the right direction too.
That's great, Jeff. That's really great to hear. Keep in touch with the show because we'd love to hear your progress.
Oh, yeah, and like I said, it's going in the right direction. I feel healthier all the time and more energetic. And, it's just, things are just, I want to encourage people to hang in there. It's not the fast process, and sometimes you get frustrated, but it works, and just keep thanking the Lord for Dr. Wallach. And,
absolutely, yeah. Hang in there. Keep it in your heart. Keep hope alive because it's there.
And thank you. I'll pass it on for my friend with the prostate problems.
Jeff, thanks for the call. You take care of yourself. We're going to let you go, and we're going to jump over to Dana in Massachusetts. How you doing, Dana?
Pretty good.
Good. What's going on?
All right, I got a tough one for you. I got a family member, he's about 35 years old, and they found he has colon cancer, stage 3.
Yeah.
And then he's got a little bit of colitis and Crohn's associated with, they said. And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have him on chemotherapy once a week. He said that he's the only thing that's he hasn't lost any hair and he's feeling pretty strong, but the only thing is he gets diarrhea really bad.
Yeah.
And it makes him move like 7 times a day, so that's a biggie.
Yeah. Diarrhea is a definite side effect of radiation poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's gonna be difficult for him to keep stuff down. I don't know if you could convince him to maybe step away from that course of action, but here's the deal, okay? With let's take one thing at a time here. With the colon cancer, I don't know if you heard of the Clement University study, but they did a double-blind study of Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0, and they found that it kills colon cancerous cells over 90% of the time, and that is just the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So here's the deal. Even if he is getting diarrhea, that means that Tangy Tangerine is going to be passing through his colon, right? I would think. And, if he can get away from that, that'd be great. Now, as far as the digestion problems, that's more than likely because the radiation is killing off the gut flora that he needs. And if I was you, 35 years old, hey, can you believe this crap? It's unreal.
They removed
But
a huge mass out of his stomach, though. Huge.
yeah. Okay, so what I would do if it were me is I would get him on a healthy digestion pack, okay? And I would include in that selenium. How much does he weigh?
About 145, 156, he said.
Yeah, bare minimum 1 healthy digestion pack.
Okay.
Cool. As much as he can afford. Bare minimum a healthy start pack and selenium. Bare minimum.
Start in selenium. And how
Yeah.
much selenium?
Selenium at 135 pounds, I would do 2 bottles a month if he can get away with it. Got that wrote down?
Yeah. Now, they have him on Percocet and stuff like that. Should he stop taking that, or he needs it?
I would get rid of the Percocet myself. He's probably using that for pain, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so, he's going to have to see how he feels. But the Percocet, it's just, like Dr. Glidden says, like spray painting over mold. You're masking a symptom. So, if he needs pain relief, go ahead and keep doing it. But, we want to take this on in a different way. So, if it were me in that situation, he's probably in a lot of pain. It would be tough to convince me not to take a painkiller, right? So I would just get him taking the product and let him gain a little bit of strength and start feeling better from that. It's going to be a tough go because of the diarrhea and the chemo, but, there's a chance that we could reverse things. And if this was a friend of mine, I would tell him, if I was you, man, I'd run from the chemo. That's what I would say. But, that it's up to him whether or not he wants to listen to the advice of his doctor or not. But the motto of our show is fire your MD, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would Z-Radical help him at all?
Absolutely.
Victoria?
Like I said, as much as you can afford, at least a bottle or 2 a month. And the key ingredient there is fucoidan, and that will actually help with the radiation.
The Z-Radical?
Yeah, Z-Radical, you betcha. High ORAC value. And definitely, in my opinion, would help out with the colon cancer. A lot more than radiation therapy, that's for sure.
Yeah, and one other quick thing. I got another friend that has, she did the Wallach survey thing. She has bone and joint pain because she had some neck issues, some prior surgery, but she can't afford the bone and joint pack. So if she had the glucogels and OsteoFX, would that at least help at all, or?
Yeah, here's what I would do in that situation. I would go with the Glucogel Plus and the OsteoFX and take it from there. Dana, I got to put you on hold. We'll talk to you just a little bit more after this break, and then we'll go over to Robin in North Carolina. You just stay right there. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Fire Your MD Now Radio. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We're going to go back over to Dana in Massachusetts real quick. Make sure that you've got everything in line here. Now, was that helpful?
It was.
Good.
Mike, can I just ask you for my friend with the colon cancer?
Yeah.
I only have the original BTT in stock. Would that be just as good as the 2.0, or it has to be?
I don't think it's as good, but you know what? It's better than nothing. I would definitely get them on it right away. I personally like the new stuff better, but my wife still takes the old Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and she seems to love it. So, it's a kind of a matter of preference. There's definitely a higher content of different vitamins, and there's a few minerals added and some probiotics and whatnot with the new one. But the old one is still a good product. So, yeah, if you've got some on hand and you want to give them a can or sell them one or whatever, do it up.
Okay. And so for the one with the bone and joint, you said Glucogel and OsteoFX, but you said plus? Glucogel plus?
Yeah, Glucogel Plus. It's in a liquid form, and there's also antioxidants added, and it seems to work better. And that's on the advice of my beautiful wife, who uses it all the time.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take care, Dana. We're going to let you go. Robin in North Carolina has been waiting quite a while here and says he's been taking a bone and joint pack and he's in pain in his arms. What's the deal, Robin?
Well, actually, I had another young lady that I was calling for, Miss Crystal. I think she had to hang up, but she's taking the bone and joint pack and been about a little over a month, but she said she started feeling pain in her arms since she's been taking it. So we're just trying to figure out what possibly could be going on. What does she need to increase or decrease?
Okay, first of all, I'm sorry I said his. Okay, Robin's kind of one of those names that can go either way. I apologize for that. But, okay. No, I don't believe for one second that the pain is being caused by the bone and joint pack. How much does this girl weigh?
I'm not even sure. I hate we lost her because she's been holding for a while. And so she had to hang up. So I decided to go ahead and ask for her. Then maybe I can, relay to her. But she's doing 2.5 scoops of the Tangy Tangerine, and she's doing 4 glucogels a day. And she's
4 ounces or 4 capsules?
4 capsules.
Okay, because the capsules are dosed at 1 per 10 pounds. So if this girl weighs 100 pounds, she would need 10. If she's 200 pounds, she would need 20. Just like I told the last caller, if you were listening there, I suggest that she switch to the Glucogel Plus. Now, here's another deal. With bone and joint pain, a big game changer to add on top of the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack is the HGH Youth Complex, okay? The HGH Youth Complex. Now, my wife was using the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack for quite a while, and she got great results, but it seemed like when she got on the HGH Youth Complex and another product called Immortalium, it was a big game changer. So is she aware of the 10 bad food list? Have you gone through that with her?
Yes, sir.
Good. And it's only been a month. So, sometimes these things take time, and that's all there is to it. Like when I started out with Youngevity, I was only using Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and I felt a lot better, but it took me a little bit of time before my body completely got out of the weeds with all the problems that I had. So what you got to do is encourage her to keep going. I would switch her over to the Liquid Glucogel Plus.
Okay.
Excuse me. And I would also add into that HGH Youth Complex. Now, sorry about that. I got a frog in my throat. But I should stop eating frogs, right? But
Yeah.
anyhow, what women notice, and guys too, with the HGH Youth Complex is that your skin gets really good. You get kind of a glow in your face. So any woman listening, I highly recommend the HGH Youth Complex if you're on a healthy bone and joint pack, because it seems to tip the scales a lot faster. Sound good, Robin?
Yes, sounds wonderful. I'll let her know.
All right, Robin, we're going to let you go. It is the bottom of the hour, and Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be back after this network break. Welcome back. We're live. This is Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden, Friday, August 8th. Beautiful rainy day here in Camrose, Alberta. Mosquitoes everywhere. I mean, it's just really bad this year. And there's one circling me right now. So if you hear me talking like I'm gesturing frantically, I'm killing a mosquito. The call-in line is 1-844-374-5433. Once again, 1-844-374-5433. If you want to contact me by email and get something on the air, it's mike@teamglidden.ca, or we have a line you can call if you're too shy for radio. You can contact a member of my team if you want to get down with the products, you want to get on board with longevity, save your life, save your family and friends' lives, or just not get sick in the first place due to a over-nutrified body. We got you covered, 1-800-705-6892. I want to talk about Ebola for a little bit here. I've been really looking into this whole Ebola thing, and it's all I hear on the news every day and on these other shows. People are freaking out about Ebola. I was just reading an article on orthomolecular.org, okay? And there is an increasing school of thought and a lot of scientists and doctors saying that selenium will head off Ebola. Okay, so if you're out there huddled in your basement with your storable foods and a bunch of ammunition waiting for hordes of Ebola victims, I mean, I don't think it's necessary. I'm not scared of it. And the reason is because I take a whole lot of selenium. Okay, and if you listen to like the Robert Scott Bell show and a few other places, Ebola is not going to be a problem for you if you have a nutrified body. Notice that a lot of the people that are dying from it right now are in West Africa. Okay, you got Liberia. You got these countries that are so screwed up. No sanitation standards, no healthy food or nutrition going into these people. And the Ebola virus comes along and it wipes them out pretty quickly. Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't have to worry about Ebola as long as you're nutrified. And while we're on the subject, why are we only hearing about Ebola in the news when Vioxx has killed more people? Okay? Seriously. You know, if you go to drugwatch.com, drugwatch.com, great website. I can't recommend it highly enough, and I'm trying to get one of those guys on the show here. But they post recall information. They post all these different strategies, lawyers you can call if you've had a bad knee replacement, if you've been a victim of a drug that has seriously caused you harm. And you know what? I recommend you do sue them. I do, but get nutrified in the process so you can get better after, because so what if you have a bunch of money if your health is in the can, right? I mean, here, this is from drugwatch.com. Vioxx recall information. Just a few years after the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved Vioxx, the drug was recalled because of the risk of deadly heart attacks and strokes. When Vioxx hit the market, the goal was to expand the drug's reach worldwide to as many patients as possible. While Vioxx patients numbered about 80 million quickly, most didn't know that the drug was jeopardizing their health. Now, notice the goal was to get it in as many people as possible. The goal was never to help you. The goal was never to make you better. And they ignored any data that would contradict a spreadsheet. And as a result, well, let's read on. Vioxx, a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug and a prescription painkiller, was approved for use by the FDA in 1999. In the years that followed, it was mired in scandal. Merck was accused of misleading doctors and patients about the drug's safety, fabricating study results to suit the company's needs, continually thwarting an FDA scientist from revealing the drug's problems, and skirting federal drug regulations. In 2004, Merck withdrew the drug from the market after a study revealed the drug more than doubled the risk of heart attacks and death. But by that point, more than 38,000 deaths were related to Vioxx use, and up to 25 million Americans had taken the drug. And you're worried about Ebola? I'm more scared of the FDA and the drug companies than Ebola. Vioxx caused so much damage and destruction that some have called it the worst drug disaster in history. The Vioxx scandal wasn't just devastating to the injured patient and their families, it also underscored problems within the FDA. Do you think? Many suspect that the New Jersey-based Merck and the FDA worked together to keep the drug on the market and quiet the health concerns. Can you say death panel? The suspicions about the Merck-FDA tie ran deep. They started early on when Merck tried to convince the FDA that Vioxx was better than other NSAIDs because it caused few digestive tract problems. Even before the drug was FDA approved, the company launched its Vioxx gastrointestinal outcomes research study to determine the digestive risks. While the study did show that Vioxx was easier on the digestive system than other drugs in the same category, it also revealed that it increased risk of heart problems. Okay, so they knew it right there. What did they do? After that, Merck continually hounded the FDA to allow the drug to drop the digestive warnings on the label. In February 2001, the FDA approved Merck's request to change the drug's label to reflect that it's safer on the stomach than other drugs in the same class, although that label change would later be overturned. It was a feather in Merck's cap. About the same time, the FDA ordered the company to send doctors a letter explaining the drug's heart risks, and it wouldn't be the first time that Merck's huge marketing monster was reprimanded. Yeah, reprimanded, yeah. Fingers slapped. The whole time that Merck was promoting Vioxx as a superior alternative for those with gastrointestinal problems, the company was also brushing aside the drug's cardiovascular risks. It wasn't until April 2002, years after the Vigor trial results showed the risks, that the FDA and Merck decided to include the heart and stroke information on the drug label. Oh yeah, so they put it on the label. How many people read the label? I mean, really. Critics would later point to this as evidence of the cozy relationship between Merck and the FDA and the company's blaze attitude towards the risks. When the trial results were finally published in the prestigious New England Journal of Medicine, no one knew that it was missing some key information. Later, the public would learn that Merck scientists left out key data on heart patients to make the drug seem safer. The editor of the journal later demanded a correction, but the scientists who conducted the study refused. We can't be wrong. We're a bunch of scientists. While the drug was removed from the market on September 30th, 2004, it was just the beginning of the controversy surrounding it. The U.S. Department of Justice and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission investigated the company for its deceptive and strong-arm marketing practices. An FDA scientist who discovered the Vioxx heart connection early on said his FDA bosses forced him to quash information that was potentially damaging to Merck. Government officials continually question the relationship between Merck and the FDA. And perhaps in the most shocking turn of events, and perhaps underscoring Merck's close relationship with the FDA and other drug regulatory agencies, advisory panels in both the United States and Canada in 2005 voted that Vioxx could return to the market under certain circumstances and restriction. So far, Vioxx remains recalled. So, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about profits. It's about spreadsheets. It's a murder machine, really. No wonder the American Medical Association, or AMA, is constantly referred to as the American Murder Association. Let's go over to Antoinette in Brooklyn. Antoinette, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Good to hear you, Antoinette. I love your name. That's a great name, Antoinette.
Thank you.
How you doing, Antoinette?
I'm doing so fine.
Okay. What's on your mind today?
Okay. First of all, I have a question about my weight. Then the second question is about actually, I don't know if that's the problem, but recently I started having these pimples, like red pimples coming up, like my skin, when I scratch my hand, it actually comes up, but it comes up and it's like real red, like swells so big.
Like welts?
It hurts.
Like
so
a welt?
I went to the doctor Monday and they told me that I was bit by something, which is not, because I wake up this morning and I have the same problem. Like, whenever I scratch my skin, the same pimple comes up, and it's like paining so bad. So I was wondering if, like, it has something to do with, like, my son just turned 8 months. So I was wondering if it's all those things, those shots or whatever that I got from the hospital or whatever. I don't even know.
So this is your son?
Yeah, my son is 8 months.
8 months. Okay, well, first of all, congratulations on having an 8-month-old son. That's great.
Thank you.
All right. Second of all, Antoinette, I hear the music. That means I'm going to have to put you on hold, and we're going to get back to you after this commercial break. Antoinette, you stay right there because we got your number. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We will return after these messages. We are live. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden, coming back at you here with some fight music. And it's appropriate because we are in a fight. As Dr. Wallach once said to me, we got wars to win there, Phillip. Talking to Antoinette in Brooklyn before the break, and she's got some skin issues going on. And you know what, Antoinette? My sister actually had the exact same thing going on, where if she scratched her skin, she would get welts. Now, hi, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Antoinette?
Yeah, yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, good. I was just saying, years ago, my sister actually had the same thing going on, where if she scratched her skin, she would get painful welts. Okay?
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened in a long time. And now the reason for that is because she's been on the longevity and she had a whole bunch of skin issues. It wasn't just that. She would get little sores on her face, and she's a really beautiful girl, okay? And so that really bothered her. But what happened was we got her gluten-free, okay? Gluten-free. You're going to have to drop gluten from your diet. No barley, no rye, no wheat, no oats, no oatmeal, no nothing, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first thing I want you to do. Now, there's actually 10 foods that we tell people never, ever, ever, ever to eat, and gluten is number one on the list. Now, If you go to fireyourmdnow.com, that's fireyourmdnow.com, scroll down the page, you'll see a blue arrow that says register. And if you put in your email address, Dr. Glidden's team will send you a YouTube video called Against the Grain as to why you should never eat gluten. And I've seen women actually lose a lot of weight just going gluten-free. Now, the second thing, okay, with skin issues, you're going to need the EFAs in the Healthy Start Pack. That's essential fatty acids. Now, there are 12 amino acids and 3 fatty acids that you require every day. Now, what you can also do to top that up is add in with your Healthy Start Pack the HGH Youth Complex, and that will also give you absolutely tremendously beautiful skin, and that's what every woman wants, right, Antoinette?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, now here's the other thing. Let's talk about the weight loss, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
As I mentioned, with the gluten consumption, if you cut that off, you will start to lose weight, okay? Now, you nutrify your body, and I've seen women, I actually know one personally that lost 30 pounds in about 2 months, not even exercising, just taking the Healthy Start Pack, okay? I know a guy that lost 90 pounds, not exercising, taking the Healthy Start Pack. Now, how did you hear about this show, Antoinette?
I heard it from my cousin. She actually gave me the number to call, and she insists that I call.
You know what? You got a great cousin there, because this is something that's going to help you out definitely. Now, you and your cousin get together, and both of you can pitch $10. It costs you $20 to become a Team Glidden Insider. And you'll see how you can do that when you get to fireyourmdnow.com. And Dr. Glidden has countless hours of webinars where he teaches you how to get your health back from a variety of issues. But there's also a webinar on prenatal nutrition and nutrition for children. Okay? So if you want that son of yours to grow up avoiding all these problems, I can't recommend that enough. And there's also lots of good information on healthy weight loss. What the doctors would do is do a gastric bypass or a band around your stomach, or cut out part of it, or they got a little balloon in a pill that you swallow, and that thing pops open so you can't eat as much, but you're still starving of nutrition.
Yeah.
Okay, so none of those are good answers. So what I suggest to you, how much do you weigh, Antoinette?
So, like a couple months ago, I was weighing like 170 pounds.
Yeah.
Which is not good. Since I have my son, I never lose weight. Like
Antoinette, stay right there. Stay right there. Okay. I'm going to put you on hold. We got a break. I'll come right back to you, okay? Welcome back. We're live. Had a little break there. Ran outside, did a few things. I'm getting good at this radio thing. Before the break, we were talking to Antoinette in Brooklyn. We're going to go right back to her. She had a baby 8 months ago or so, and she's looking to lose some weight, looking to lose some skin conditions. And if you listen to Dr. Wallach's show, the first thing he asks anyone just about 100% of the time is if they have a skin condition. Well, what he's doing is he's looking for a gluten intolerance. So, Antoinette, you've got to kick gluten to the curb. It's got to go. So, and if you do that, not just for you, but for your son and for your husband or boyfriend or anybody else, if you've got any other kids, get it right out of your house. I don't want your dog to eat it. Okay? So, actually, you know what? That's a funny story. My friend, he didn't really listen to me too much about all this, and he had a dog named Zoe, and she had a skin condition for a long time. And I told him, get her off gluten, get some colloidal silver, put it on there, and it should clear right up. Put some EFAs in her food. And he said, no, my vet says, and so, he was buying her all these expensive antibiotic creams to put on her paws and other areas of her anatomy to get rid of this painful rash that the dog had. And after about 3 months of that, he went back to his vet, and the vet said, maybe you should get her on a gluten-free diet with EFAs, with amino and fatty acids. He did, and the dog was fine. So, point is, listen to old Mike Phillip here. He knows what he's talking about. But like I said, my sister had the same thing going on with the skin condition, exactly like what you described. That is now gone. So the other thing is that you just had a baby a little while back, and you are most likely really malnourished, okay? You're probably eating every day, but you're not getting the nutrients you need in your food. And that baby had to be built inside of you out of something, and that means that those nutrients to build that baby, the minerals and the vitamins and everything that went into it, were coming out of you. So, I was reading some articles from Global News here in Alberta, where I live in Western Canada, and they were saying that in the next 5 years, they expect 1 in 10 pregnancies to end in type 2 diabetes for the mother. Of course, they can't. Yeah, that's right. And they can't figure out why, but they are just minerally deficient. Well, that doesn't have to happen to you because you called into this show. So get together with your cousin and learn how to use this stuff and learn how to get your health back so that you're not driving down to the hospital with your son someday because he's having an asthma attack or getting diabetes or multiple sclerosis or any of these other problems that people are suffering from. Just avoid it altogether. And if you think it's expensive now, it's not half as expensive or even a quarter as if you develop a problem down the road and have to go through the medical system. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Great. Is there anything else you'd like to mention, Antoinette?
Okay, there's another thing. The next thing is like when I got out of the hospital, 2 months after I started feeling pain in my wrist.
Yeah.
And I went to the doctor, but the bone is actually coming, like, it's out. So I did an X-ray on it, and they said nothing is wrong with my hand. So I asked the doctor why the bone is like this. He was like, oh, because you actually use that hand all the time, which I really don't understand that, because I know a lot of people do use, either the left or the right hand, and I know a lot of people don't have the problem that I'm having. So I have to go back to the doctor to have a brace for the bone to be back in. Because at the wrist, the bone is actually coming out.
Wow.
It pains.
Yeah.
It pains a lot of time. It really pains.
Right,
I don't know.
So when you get your Healthy Start pack, okay?
Yeah.
There's a product in there called OsteoFX, and I also had problems with a wrist. I was a drummer, and I worked with power tools that were very heavy, sometimes for 12 to 16 hours a day. And I had carpal tunnel syndrome, and that cleared up in about 2 months. Now, what you're describing to me might be a little bit different, but it's in the same area. And when I got on the OsteoFX with the Healthy Start pack, that went away in short order. So I would like to see the same thing happen with you, and I'm very confident that it can. Now, we don't cure anything, okay? We don't treat anything, and I have to say that for legal reasons, but your body has wisdom. Your body knows how to fix itself. Just like you get a cut on your arm, and that cut heals up in a few days, your internal organs, your skeletal structure, your skin, that all can fix itself too. So, 10 bad food list. Go to fireyourmdnow.com and get that list and get yourself a Healthy Start pack and see what happens. And if you need extra help, keep in touch with the show. Keep listening, because you're going to hear people calling in with the same problems that you have, and we have a tremendous, tremendous success rate.
Okay. I will.
So I want you to have that too. Yeah. All right.
I will. Thank you so much.
You have a great day, Antoinette. We're going to let you go. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, and all the ships at sea. You don't have to suffer. Anything I have to say on this show today, that's the bottom line. You don't have to suffer. You've been paying for ineffective medical treatments for a long time. You've been paying for drugs that'll kill you. You've been paying for getting staph infections from so-called professionals. They never blame themselves. The government sticks up for these drug companies. The drug companies lobby the government. They got deep pockets. Okay? But you don't have to listen. Okay? You do not have to do what they say. If you were listening yesterday, my wife and I went to a rheumatologist up in Edmonton, the city near where I live. And this woman told her she needed antidepressants. And when we said no, she said, well, you have to. I mean, these people, who the hell do you think you are? Right? But that's how it is. They are Moses on the mountain, and you are the lowly chattel slave, and you need to listen up. Okay? Now, along the same vein of what I was talking about earlier, first Xarelto bleeding lawsuits filed. FDA rejects new use. This is coming at you from drugwatch.com. Drug giants Bayer and Johnson & Johnson face the first lawsuits related to safety concerns for the billion-dollar blood thinner Xarelto, according to Reuters. See, so I'm not just picking on Merck here. Plaintiffs filed claims after severe internal bleeding sent them to the hospital. In those cases, patients took Xarelto, and their claims blame the excessive bleeding on that use. Unlike warfarin, a trusted mainstay for preventing blood clots for the last 50 years, Xarelto does not have an antidote to stop uncontrolled bleeding, which can be fatal. And I'd just like to back up and say warfarin is rat poison. Rat poison. Okay, you don't have to get blood clots if you're mineralized. You don't have to take rat poison, and you don't have to get internal bleeding for a damn drug. Kentucky resident Virginia Stuntneck filed a lawsuit against Bayer in the U.S. District Court of the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. Stuntneck was hospitalized after she took Xarelto and suffered severe gastrointestinal bleeding in 2013. And you're scared of Ebola. She claims the drug should not be sold and that Bayer and J&L continued to sell it even if they knew the risks. Sound familiar? The companies also did not inform the public. Sound familiar? As the manufacturer and distributors of Xarelto, defendants knew or should have known that Xarelto use was associated with irreversible bleeds, Stuntneck's complaint said. In May, Boehringer Ingelheim paid $650 million to settle thousands of internal bleeding cases involving its blood thinner Pradaxa. The drug hit the market in 2010, a year before Xarelto. Both drugs shared the same bleeding side effects. Attorneys say they expect more lawsuits after people become aware of the dangers of the drug. First wave of claims comes a few months after the U.S. Food and Drug Administration advisory panel gave Xarelto a unanimous thumbs down for approval as a treatment for patients with sudden reduced blood flow to the heart, including heart attacks, chest pain, also known as acute coronary syndrome. While the drug is approved for a number of uses, of course, adding approval for ACS would grant Xarelto access to the 1.2 million Americans who are sent to the hospital each year with the condition. And this panel decision was also a third strike for Bayer and J&L for FDA approval. Strike 3, you're out, right? You get caught stealing a block of cheese because your family's starving. It's your third strike, and you're going away forever in some states. You ever heard of that happening? Well, these guys got their third strike for killing thousands of people. They're still around. The panel voted that the drug should not be used to prevent new heart attacks and stroke in patients with ACS because there was not enough clinical data to support the approval. The experts added that some trial data was actually missing. We appreciate the thoroughness of the committee's review and continue to believe that Xarelto, in addition to the current standard of care, may help improve patients with ACS, additional protection against life-threatening cardiovascular events such as death, heart attack, and stroke. Paul Burton, VP of Clinical Development for J&L's Janssen R&D segment, said in a statement. Despite the fact that the drug companies face litigation about another drug that has a controversial safety profile, Xarelto sales appear to be strong, and partners Bayer and J&L are making healthy profits in the first year of the drug's sales. Bayer generated about $431 million in Europe. J&L earned $239 million in U.S. sales. Sales in both large markets continue to climb. The drug follows in the footsteps of its predecessor, Boehringer Ingelheim's Pradaxa, another drug that has robust sales. Even though the risk of internal bleeding concerned doctors, it did not appear to stop them from prescribing it. If you ain't mad, you're not paying attention. Now listen to this. Listen to this. Bayer and J&L continue to pursue FDA approval despite being shut down for ACS treatment. The companies are conducting studies on whether or not the drug can be used in combination with aspirin to stop heart attacks, death, and stroke. In addition, the companies plan to start testing Xarelto on patients with chronic artery disease and heart failure. They're going to generate $3.68 million in annual sales. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be back with more crappy news after this. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're live. Final segment of Friday, August 8th, Fire Your MD Now radio show. And as I promised, I have more bad news. And I'm not just going to pick on Merck and GlaxoSmithKline and all these other companies. Let's talk about knee replacements for a little bit. We actually did the webinar last night in my group meeting on healthy bone and joints, and we had a lady show up for the first time. Never heard Dr. Glidden before, but she watched the advanced bone and joint webinar, and she signed up the very next day. Turns out she's scheduled to get a knee replacement in December down in a town called Medicine Hat here in Alberta. Now get this. Here's the headline. Zimmer recalls 40,000 next-gen knee models. Okay, so this isn't a drug. This is a knee replacement. Zimmer Manufacturing initiated another sweeping recall on one of its artificial knee implants, the next-gen MIS tibial component. This time because one of the pieces could loosen or fail because of shoddy manufacturing. Zimmer said the threads on the next-gen complete knee solution tibial component might be out of specification in more than 40,000 devices. Now, how many of them are already in people's legs? In its letter to medical professionals, Zimmer said some of the tibial base plates were made with defective threads in a hole where surgeons screw in a drop-down stem extension or stem plug. If not threaded correctly, the device could loosen and fail. And guess what? It's in your leg. You're stuck with it. You know what? This longevity thing is looking better and better all the time. Zimmer said the problematic device could lead to one or more post-surgery complications. Number one, infection. The patient runs the risk of serious infection if the surgery is delayed, or if a secondary implant is not immediately available and the surgeon must close the patient and return later. So how many people are running around with these things and don't even know this? Bone loss. The patient may have additional bone loss if the tibial device is cemented in place and the surgeon must remove and replace it. Because it's cemented in, they've got to take out the piece where the cement is. Early revision surgery. If the device loosens or infection occurs, this could lead to revision surgery. And revision is what they call it if they have to go back in and mess around or replace a bad knee or hip joint. Dislocation. If the stem is not properly placed, the devices may not adequately lock. This could lead to dislocation. The voluntary recall affects 41,180 devices and includes 8 sizes. Zimmer initiated the recall after it received 12 complaints in a 2.5-year period. The faulty devices were distributed during a 4-year period between February 2010 and May 2014. Recall started May 19th. Very interesting. So you know what? Don't bother getting a fake knee, okay? Your body knows how to fix itself. It wants to fix itself. And if you want to get on board with a team that actually cares about how you do with your health, we're not a bunch of money-grubbing, low-life network marketers over here at Team Glidden. You can contact me personally, Mike at teamglidden.ca. Once again, that's Mike at teamglidden.ca. Or you can get a hold of us, 1-800-705-6892. And I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to that lady that signed up today not having to get that knee surgery. She's got till December, and she's on the right track. I see a lot of really beautiful people with great personalities hurting and in bad shape all the time. And if you're one of them, you don't have to be. Shoot me an email, Mike at teamglidden.ca. Now, this coming week, I'm going to be on the air Monday and Tuesday, and then the following Friday. And after that, Dr. Glidden's going to be back. And you can call in anytime. We love to deal with this sort of stuff. It's what we do. Mike Phillips signing off of filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. Everybody have a great weekend, and I'll be back Monday. Peace out.